ready for my 35-week check-in. Let's have a little pillow talk. I just thought I'd relax here in my bed, talk to you guys. I've been trying to raise my bed here. I've been writing down some things over the last week that I want to share with you guys. So I'll be reading from my handy-dandy notebook, or actually it's a planner that my sweet daddy gave me. So, a lot to say. First of all, thank you to all my new subscribers. I don't know what did it, but I'm thanking Miss Cheryl with Sunshiny Friends that she mentioned me on one of her videos, and I started getting some new subscribers. So I think that had a lot to do with it. So thank you. I appreciate that, Cheryl, and I appreciate the new subscribers. And I've actually had communication with several of them and learned some things from them already. So exciting. That's what we're here for, right? So when I started my journey back in October, there were some things I knew because I watched some YouTube videos and learned from some of my new friends. But there were some things I didn't know, and I didn't know, and you didn't know until you just went through the experience. So for people that are newly in this GLP-1, tirzepatide, semaglutide world, I thought I would share some things that I've learned along the way, and so forth. That I'm not a doctor, not any kind of medical professional. I'm a retired elementary school teacher. So sometimes I did feel like a nurse, of course, but I'm not trained. So I have just learned from my personal experience and from other YouTubers. But one of the things that's been recent with me that I wanted to share is ChatGTP. My son uses that. He's a D1 basketball. I always say D1 because I guess I just hear that term a lot, but it really doesn't matter if you're D1, D2, D3, JUCO, whatever. But he is a college athlete and really into nutrition, fitness, well-being for the whole body, mind, spirit, physical, emotional, everything. And I learn a lot from him, but he uses ChatGTP. Y'all know I'm old, so this is all new to me. But so when he introduced that to me, I was like, oh, let me see that. So I did, get on there, and I had just received my bike, my beach cruiser, for Mother's Day. And so I said, give me a workout plan with my bike. And they gave me a workout plan, and I looked at it and I was like, let me just tell you a little bit more about me. And you just talk to them like you're talking to a person, tell them a little bit more about physically where I'm at. And they, catered a little goal for me. So it was good. I've been working on that goal. But you also can ask any kind of nutrition information. It's really like having a personal health coach, fitness coach. I'm sure there's a lot of other things you can do with it, but I've just explored the nutrition and fitness aspect of using that tool. So hopefully it's a safe thing. Sometimes all this AI stuff kind of scares me because I guess because I'm old school, and I just think, oh my gosh, people are listening to everything I say, everything I do, and you feel like your privacy is somewhat violated these days, but that's just the world we're in. So try to take advantage of what you can, I guess. And just got to pray and hope for the best. Can't worry about it. We have a famous saying my dad and we got from my little niece, Elle. Don't worry about it. She used to say when she was a little bitty toddler, don't worry about it. So we tell each other all the time, don't worry about it. All right. And like my shirt says, be still and know that he is God. He's the one that is in control. We can't worry about this stuff daily. All right. Another thing about a GLP-1 is we know there are some side effects because it slows down your digestion, and therefore sometimes you have, gastrointestinal issues, digestive issues, diarrhea, constipation, nausea, heartburn, indigestion. People have talked about these sulfur burps. I haven't had those. But anyway, I have had nausea and I've had constipation. but you will learn if you get ahead of it, it helps. So things that have really helped me, because I thought I was ahead of it by drinking lots of water and all this stuff, but no, when it hits you, it's a rough few days sometimes before you get that relief, and then you don't want to go back to that. So Miralax. It doesn't have to be the name brand Miralax. I've got an off brand that works just the same. It's less expensive. So just put that in your morning drink, your water, drink it daily, especially around your shot days, period, time like that. There's also magnesium. You can get the gummies, you can get the drink, but magnesium is a little bit probably healthier for you to do long term, and it also helps with cramping. So if you're ever catching cramps, things like that, try to up your magnesium. All right. Another thing, if you really get in a bind, and I've said this on some previous videos, is have you some Fleet suppositories on hand. I know that this is not the greatest topic, but that's been my savior when I really, sometimes for whatever reason, travel, get backed up, and you know you've been taking your Miralax, but nothing is moving. Go from the other side of things, literally. And I just keep little bathroom wipes, any kind of little wipe. You know, you grab it and you have it in that. Easier to apply. Of course, you can use gloves if you have them, but I don't usually keep those on hand. Because remember, I'm not a doctor. All right, so, but that really helps. And if you've been doing all the right things, once you get the drain unclogged, everything else takes course. So, on that note, because your food digests slower, one thing I was surprised about is so does medication that's orally taken. So, you know, there have been times when I've had to take melatonin because I could not sleep. Well, I know that melatonin is going to take longer to work, you know, certain melatonins. Allergy medicines, sinus medicines, pain medicines, upset stomach medicines. Sometimes you may notice that they may take a little bit longer than they used to take to go into effect. So you got to consider that, especially if you're taking something to help you sleep, but you've got to be able to wake up at a certain time and be alert. You know, take it a little bit earlier than you used to before you're planning to go to bed. Also, you know, a pleasant surprise was this food noise being gone. That's the key. And, you know you're on the right dose when you're not thinking about your next meal. And when you hear those little voices coming back, and maybe you're getting some cravings or thinking about food more, then maybe it's time to think about upping your dose, that sort of thing. But all these things you talk with your doctor about. So another thing that I learned recently, because I've been saying this because I've always been told that muscle weighs more than fat. So I tell myself that when I'm, on the scale and I'm not seeing the scale go where I want it to go because I've really upped my weight training and fitness. Muscle weighs more than fat. Well, one of my new subscribers, new friends said, actually, a trainer told me that muscle and fat weigh the same. And I was like, don't tell me that, because I've been relying on that phrase. But, I said, let me look that up because I need to be educated. So yes, she was absolutely right. Muscle, there are different types of tissues, muscle and fat. So while they weigh the same, muscle takes up less space than fat in your body because muscle is dense. So, or it's denser. And it's metabolically active. That means that you burn more calories. The more muscle you have, you even burn more calories when you're at rest if you have more muscle. So the scale might not always be reflecting these changes accurately. So if you're not seeing those numbers go down, but you're doing weight training, it's not, muscle weighs more than fat, so I'm okay. It's muscle takes up more or less space than fat. So think about, not just the scale. Don't just rely on that for your progress, but think about how your clothes are fitting. Let's see what else that's suggested. How your, I wrote this down, and y'all know how my chemo brain sometimes gets the best of me, but it said how your clothes are fitting. Oh, and your measurements, your composition testing, things like that. So a lot of you talked about doing composition testing. I haven't done that, and I don't have a composition scale at my house, and I do get scans regularly at the City of Hope for my cancer treatment, so I do see the visceral fat disappearing around my in and around my liver, so that's a good indicator for me. But you you know, rely on those kind of things, not just the number on the scales. And also we should have a balance, though, of fat and muscle in our body, because fat does serve a purpose. It regulates your body temperature. It cushions and protects organs, you know, sometimes too much. So that's the thing we have to kind of balance there. But it also stores energy, fat does. So it's not all bad. And, of course, we know with the stories about Ozempic face and that sort of thing, a lot of people are finding themselves with their face kind of looking a lot different, and maybe aging them more when they're losing this youthful fat around the face. But, you know, you have to just kind of weigh in what your health goals are, and sometimes you're gonna just maybe have a smaller face, which I've always called myself like a little pinhead. I have a small head, and my face does get thinner quicker than other parts of my body. But when I get to where I'm thinking, oh, that's not looking good, you know, I may talk to my esthetician, I think I said that right, about some fillers, plumpers, if I need it. I do Botox. You can check that video out. I'm not ashamed of my game. I believe in keeping it real. Do you hear me? But if you want to keep your stuff a secret, that's fine. It's your prerogative. Do what you want to do. Okay. So, anyway, what else do I have to tell you? Oh, speaking of muscle, okay, I've got a new kind of mindset when it comes to my weight training, weightlifting. You know, try to get in. I've been trying to hit like 3 sets of however many repetitions for the weight and the energy that I have at that moment. But what I'm kind of looking at now is I'm upping and increasing my weight. Yesterday I did some 25-pounders down in the basement, and I just said, you know what? I'm just going to do the repetitions until I'm like, oh, you know, shaking. Can't do it. It's like, oh, you know, you don't have another one left in you. That's what I'm doing now when I'm doing my weight training. You know, I got a long way to go, but it's a lot better than it was back in October 2024. So that's kind of what I'm doing now with my weight training. Just squeezing, and I'm, you know, really slowing down and being intentional about what area I'm working. And, you know, when I get to that, okay, I can do one more. You know what I'm saying? Oh, now I'm gonna make myself catch a cramp. I'm gonna get a magnesium. Anyway, but that's what I'm doing now. And one thing I wish I would have done, so if you're just starting this journey, you might want to consider this. I wish I would have taken my measurements, because that's another way not to rely on the scale. I'm sorry, this shirt is getting on my nerves. It's kind of new, and it's like, I don't know. But anyway, I didn't, because I couldn't find my tape measure, really was the reason. And then I've ordered some, and now I'm taking measurements. But I wish I had done that from the beginning, and I wish I would have been intentional about taking a before picture. Like really put on the swimsuit or the workout clothes and do the front, side, back view. I didn't do that, because I've done that in the past, and every time I did it, the diet or whatever I was on didn't work. And it just, you know, I just like, what's the point? So I didn't do it this time, but I really kind of wish I had of. So if I had to do it over again, if I was just starting my journey, I would take measurements, key measurements, write them down. I would probably do that monthly, and then I would do pictures monthly. But I didn't. But I have done videos. So I have looked back at my videos when the scale's not moving or I'm just feeling like, am I where I need to be? I look back and I'm like, girl, you've made some progress. Good job. And we have to do that. We have to do that sometimes. So use those videos, pictures you had, even if they weren't intentionally before pictures. I've got pictures, although I don't have that many because, you know, like many of you, I was like, let me get in the back. Let me try my best to, you know, get that angle, get that camera up, whatever. So but I do have pictures, and I have pictures from my sister trip last July at the beach that I hated, but you know, I was like, it is what it is, and I'm not gonna stop my sisters from posting pics because that's what, you know, they do, and it's just who I am now. And you know, even though I don't like it, didn't feel like myself, you know, I took pictures with my sisters because it was important. So I have those pictures on the beach, and I'm going to take pictures this year, although I don't expect it to be like, you know, going from Bo Jackson to Bo Derek. I don't know. You know, going from Big Shannon to Supermodel Shannon. I don't know where that person is, if she'll ever show up. But anyway, I don't know why I always say that. But I do know that I will see a change in my body because I have definitely seen a change in my mental state and how I feel. And I feel like when I look in the mirror now, I see myself, you know, for a year, 2 years there, maybe longer. I just really didn't recognize myself. And I was just at my wit's end, like a lot of you have been, with nothing I'm doing is working. And I've got all these other medical issues, and I'm just like stuck in this vicious cycle of, and you know, there was even a time that I took, is it Phetamine? Some kind of weight loss pill, and it worked. And then I found out I had ovarian cancer because I was losing weight everywhere but my abdomen. And I was like, something's not right. And I'd had cancer, you know, previously a couple of times, 3 times. And so I went to the doctor. I was like, I need an ultrasound. I thought I was pregnant. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be the 50-year-old with twins, like my doctor said when I backed out to get my tubes tied. But I wasn't pregnant. But I had tumors on both ovaries. They said the size of 2 basketballs. So it gave me a whole new meaning to basketball mom that I was, you know, called frequently because I was raising basketballers. So anyway, players, I say all that to say that drug stopped working. And I didn't realize that happens because later I tried to take it and it didn't work at all after the ovarian treatment. I was really small once you removed those, or my doctors removed those big tumors. I mean, you know, I had major surgery, as you can imagine. And then I had major chemo, as you can imagine. But I was super small going into that chemo. But the chemo, steroids, everything did a number on me. And that's when I could not lose weight. No matter what I did, I told my doctor, I can just walk every day, all day long, and drink hot water only, and I'm gaining weight. And it really was almost that extreme. And so, but I kept trying myself because I just didn't want to rely on medication. I was already had all this chemo going in my body, and I didn't want more chemicals. But anyway, now I know it's the best decision I could have made for myself because of my health situation, metabolism, non-existent. So take before and after pictures, take measurements if you can. And another thing, and if you're watching YouTube, you probably realize this, but you may not realize how significant it is. I didn't realize until recently. Community really matters. And people that are going through the same thing as you are can really help you, sometimes more than people that don't understand it because they don't know, or they are misinformed, or, you know, like I was in the past. I really didn't know much about this shot other than it was for diabetics, you know. And then once I started educating myself about the weight loss side of it and treating obesity, which is just as detrimental as diabetes and other health issues like cancer. So, you know, one medical issue is not any greater than another, is what I've come to the conclusion of. And thank God that our scientists and medical professionals and FDA have realized the importance of people having access to this medication. Although right now we've seen, you know, some greed, a lot of greed going on that may impact everyone being able to get this medication. So we will be still and know that He is God. So it's been an amazing journey. I've just recently met Perfectly Pamela on YouTube. If you haven't seen her story, she has an amazing journey. And her voice, when she's talking, if I'm doing other things, sometimes I multitask while watching YouTube, and I'm just listening, and she sounds like Mariah Carey. So listen to Perfectly Pamela and tell me what you think. I asked her if people tell her that, and she said she's never heard that. She said she wished she could sing like her. But I was like, oh my goodness, she sounds like Mariah Carey. A few other new things. I've recorded some shorts, a lot of shorts. They're fun, but some are silly, goofy. But I did some mocktail shorts, like protein and creatine drinks that I make. And so you might want to check those out. I use the Javi French Vanilla. I use Starbucks French Vanilla cold brew. This new super coffee that I've ordered is a chocolate mint from Amazon. I'm not crazy about it on its own, but when I mix it, it's pretty good. I do not drink any alcohol. I've never been a big drinker of alcohol. I mean, at all. But especially now with my liver cancer, you know, I haven't had alcohol in a long time. The last time I had it was probably the first time in 5 years, and it was like a half a margarita on a beach trip, you know, but that's been a long time ago. So when I'm mixing these drinks, I'm like, ooh, this is my little mixed drink. So go check those shorts out if you're interested in my protein coffee and my creamy pink drink that is like a Starbucks knockoff in my mind. Also, I use the Fairlife fat-free milk with those coffees at times, and my Core Power is my go-to Fairlife Core Power chocolate or vanilla. I've started incorporating into some of those. Also, there's a Pam, Cooking with Pam, something like that, on YouTube. I'll try to tag her because she's got some good advice here and there, but I saw she showed how to make popcorn with water instead of oil, and I thought that was pretty cool. I haven't tried it yet, but every once in a while I like a little popcorn, so I'm going to try that. And another thing people have asked me about, I eat a lot of boiled eggs when I eat my eggs, and I've gotten to where I just buy the Eggland's Best. They're already pre-boiled, pre-peeled, easy to grab, and if you like it warm, you can just pop it in the microwave for like 15 seconds. So it's easy. And then I try to keep a cheese tray with some good cheeses in my refrigerator, so I have those ready. Just a quick little protein pick-me-up snack. You can roll up a little turkey or something with that, or eat it with my favorite, absolute favorite snack, Granny Smith apples sliced up with some pink Himalayan salt on them. They're really good with cheese as well. And of course, my Daisy Cottage cheese duos I get, you know, with a little fruit mixture that goes with it. I still eat those here and there and love those. So those are some things I'm doing. Some of my favorite dinners that I've been cooking are chicken roast. Get a whole chicken, or you get some chicken thighs, whatever chicken you like. I like to get with the bone in because I cook these slow in my crock pot, and the bone just gives it so much flavor. But I put a little either bone broth or chicken stock, like that, things like that, into the mixture. Lots of water because I like it brothy and soupy. But I put veggies in there. I get the little red potatoes or different types of potatoes. Slice up russets if you want to, some onion, celery, and carrots. But I get the real deal carrots. It's worth it. Get the real organic carrots and celery. The taste, the flavor is incomparable. Uncomparable, not comparable, incomparable. Okay, and you can do that with a turkey roast. You can do it with beef roast. I did it with beef stew meat. The tips the other day, threw a couple of ribeyes in there too. Why not? And my kid, because my other kid's not home, but Noah and my husband, they loved it. I ended up taking the leftovers, I thought were leftovers, to my dad, and then my son was like, what? I love that. I was going to eat that. It was so good. And so I had to make him some other stuff. But anyway, so good, so easy. You put it all in the crock pot and let it do its thing. Another thing that I've talked about before and other YouTubers have talked about are the Yazoo yogurt ice cream bars. I used to always get the one that's like the peanut butter, chocolate covered Crispies on it. And I like that one, but I've started trying the fruity ones. So creamy mango. Y'all, has real chunks of mango, and it's so good. So not bad for you. And my husband went to the grocery store last night, and I said, get me some more creamy mango. Of course, they didn't have the creamy mango. So he sent me a picture. He's like, this is what they have. What do you want? So he picked up the strawberries and cream. I'm going to try those. And raspberry crisp. I'm going to try those, and I'll let you know about those. But anyway, that's really my week 35 update. I know it's more lengthy than I planned, but if you stayed to the end, stay tuned for my Shein haul that I'm going to post as well. I think I'm going to separate those so this won't be so long. But if you've watched this update, please leave me an emoji of, let's do the hand heart, because you know what? We are all in the, I don't know if I'm doing that. There we go. That's better. This together. I always say choose joy, but let's choose love and joy. Show your love for your friends, family. Oh, speaking of, one thing I wanted to say, if you're not sure where you're at, you didn't take those before and after pictures and measurement, ask a trusted friend or family member. So can't even recognize what's going on with my body lately. I don't know. Do I need to titrate up? Do I need to stay where I'm at? Do I need to lose any more weight? Do I need to just maintain? I'm so confused. So this morning I asked my husband, and you know, first he's kind of like, oh, I ain't going there, right? And I was like, tell me what you think. Do you think I'm too thin? Do you think it'd be okay if I lost 5, 10 more pounds? And, you know, he said, Shannon, you are working out. You're doing great. Just keep doing what you're doing. You know, you look great. But, I mean, he gave me an honest feedback. When I asked my doctor the last time I was there, am I too skinny? He didn't even respond, really. So I thought, okay, he ain't going to tell me the truth. And it's because, you know, he didn't want to offend me, probably. So, just looking at the height weight chart, sometimes that can be, like, not accurate because it doesn't consider muscle, really. And now I know that muscle is not 4 pounds more than fat. Thank you. But I'm just going to keep asking my husband because I think he will say, ooh, you too skinny. But anyway, so I'm not maintaining. I'm still working, still getting this body composition right. And I will let you know when I feel like I'm there. I feel good in my clothes. But it's summertime, you know, so I gotta feel good in my swimsuits too. So you'll see when you see this Shein haul. I'm not there yet, but I'm getting there, and I'm proud of myself. So once again, choose joy, choose love. Thank you for watching, and if you like, subscribe if you haven't, And don't forget, give me an emoji of the hand hearts, please.